Welcome to Quantum Coffee. I'm Dr. Nicole.
I'm Reverend Stefani.
And today we're going to be talking about the identity hangover.
The identity hangover, something I'm currently experiencing.
Yes. So what is an identity? We're not off to a good start.
We're going to start.
It's who you are after the old version of you falls away. So this is reinvention, identity shifts, grief, and transition. Those seasons and the discomfort that comes with finding the new version of you and letting go of the old version of you.
So many stories I have right now.
There's so many stories. So buckle up. It's going to be a good ride today.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So we're going to start with my story because we're currently in it. We're in the middle. We're in the soup. We're in the mud. And this, if you know me, this is not the same story that you've heard me talk about multiple times, different podcasts all over the world in my book. This is not something I've talked about before.
This is a new story.
This is a new story. And I am currently, like I said, in the mud, let's say, taking off the old version. That's not true. The old version is dead. The old version is dead. And the grieving has passed. I had spent a decade of my life in isolation. And what I mean by that is I was still out there. I was still showing up, but I was keeping myself at a distance. I was not engaging in friendships in any way. And I was not seeing any purpose for friendships. I didn't, girlfriends specifically. I was engaging in romantic relationships. I was out there gallivanting with the opposite sex, but I was not gallivanting with the same sex. I was not interacting, and I was intentionally keeping them at a distance. I have a history of very abusive women in my life that I refused to look at for a really long time because I really didn't think it mattered, in terms of the way society looks at us and tells us how we're supposed to live out our lives. Having girlfriends is fine and fun. And, it's Sex in the City and it's friends.
Going out for Cosmos and talking about boys and all that.
But it's not. It's just a filler in the way society has framed it.
Correct.
It's not necessary in terms of growth and progression and the white picket fence and family and success and all of that stuff, at least the way it's framed. And so, of course, it brings joy. Friendships in all aspects bring joy. But I have always had friendships in my life that have been the opposite of joyful. And I know where it comes from. I know the very first female relationship in my life that kicked off that series of events, that unfortunate series of events, ending with my first marriage when I found out the entire community of females that I was with were deceitful and preying on me and betraying me and using family members against me as well. And it was just really disturbing, to say the least. And you can read about it in my self-published book, The Beast. I don't even know if I told you about that book.
You did, and I actually did purchase it.
Oh, shit.
I know. I should have put that one out here.
You did?
I did.
It's going to scare you.
I did. I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
But I do have it. And had you seen, this is the amount of preparation we put into
Well, it's just because we love each other.
We're just winging it when we're talking. So I didn't know that she was going to talk about the book.
But I didn't know I was going to talk about the book.
Okay.
Anyway. So lots of deceit and betrayal. And then went into the next decade of my life being like, well, that's not an important part of my human experience. So why even bother? And I kept everyone at a distance, and it was fine. I was working out my romantic relationship addiction, codependency. I was doing shadow work. I was learning to love myself. I was doing all those things that I've talked about for a really long time now, and all the things that I healed. But it wasn't until about 18 months ago that I was like, I think I want to engage in a bigger form of human experience. I think I want to have friends again. And
so it is so hard.
No, not because I haven't been finding them. I have. Okay. It's been hard internally, not externally. In the beginning, you attract...
It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. It's really fucking uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And something I want you all to know is when you make a decision to rewrite the script and totally change your life, it doesn't mean all of a sudden you're manifesting different people.
And everything's all sunshine and daisies. Absolutely
that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
It's constant work.
It's constant work. And the first thing that shows up are all the same people you've always gotten. So you have that's
Like
a
universal test.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
That's the test, right? And
Like, did you learn?
Right. Did you learn? Are you really ready to stop the cycle? Are you really ready to disrupt the pattern? Because you haven't done anything within these relationships to disrupt the pattern. So there's this common thought of practice where, you can't be in relationships in order to heal relationships. And I don't believe that at all. And I think it's counterintuitive. I don't even understand it. Because how are you going to have those same experiences and heal and do something different and disrupt the pattern and be a different version and have better relationships if you don't engage in relationships?
It's like reading the textbook without trying it out in reality.
Exactly. And so I was not even aware I was keeping that healing out of my life until I started. I made the decision about 18 months ago. I'm going to start. I want to have friends. I want to bring them into my life. I want to stop being scared of a social life.
Right.
I want to start showing up. And it didn't happen overnight. Then, it took 6 months before people started showing up and I started making these connections. And the first handful of people that I started engaging with were the same as the last handful of people. They were not truthful and they were not honest and they were definitely trying to take advantage of me. But what was different is that I saw it and I was aware and I was expanding and I was saying, okay. And I was having those difficult conversations. And I specifically remember this one woman about 6 months ago. I said, no, thank you. I don't want to be your friend. And she, did the whole confrontation and yelled at me and she blah, blah, blah. And I didn't give a shit because we didn't vibe. And what she was proposing to me was not something that felt good to me and it didn't feel honest to me. And I felt like she was trying to take advantage of me. And I finally was okay with saying no. Then enter stage is this wonderful human being, me, who I meet, 3 months ago? 4? I don't even, not that long ago.
It was in March.
Yeah. And so we're in July. Beginning of July.
Yeah.
Okay. And she told a joke and I was like, she's my friend. And I sat next to her the whole night and I invited her to this wellness thing with it. If you're ever in the Phoenix area during the summer, they have these really cool wellness events, rooftop fucking dance
pool
parties, pool party. Yeah. During the day. So you can be kind of chaotic and then go to sleep at a reasonable time.
Because that's what we do now. But anyway.
So I took her on a date. Well, actually, I asked her on a date and she picked me up for the date. And then we hung out for most of that day. And I don't know if it was that day or the next time at the coffee shop, but I was like, we should start a podcast. And so that's how
I was at the coffee shop because you had asked for. So as we were on our date and we were kind of explaining to each other what we do professionally, right? And that's what triggered the conversation of hey, these are the things that I want to move into. I just don't know how to get there. And I was like, enter, I have a solution. Here's the bridge. See, we keep talking about the bridge, but it's really important. It's very important. And as you start to understand, you're like, oh, okay, that's the dynamic. That's the value add. And it was like, hey, I can help you with this if you're open to it. I'm not going to force myself upon her, and she was like, yeah, that'd be great. And so that's when we set up our coffee date. Look at us dating. Anyways, it rapidly escalated.
Hold on, we're getting to the good part.
And so we meet for this coffee date and, I had all of this stuff prepped for her. I knew what her business was. I knew where she was missing the key piece, right? And I had built this whole thing out for her and sat down and went through in 25 minutes and explained to her, how to do it. So I wasn't just fixing something for her. I wasn't giving her the Band-Aid. I was teaching it to her so she could do it on her own.
Which is what I needed.
And, all of those things, but also providing her with the support behind it of, hey, I'm giving you the tools to do this, but I'm here if you have questions, if you need understanding more in depth than, what a piece of paper is going to give you. And so that was the birth of our relationship.
Right. And so that was a really safe way for us to birth this relationship through business, because to me, that was already adding a layer of protection, right? Mm-hmm. There's this coding. We're just doing this as business partnerships. Whatever the fuck.
Collaboration.
Yeah. But as we have been doing it, we have developed a friendship and we've become closer and we talk every day now. And my body and my whole entire trauma response wants to run. So this is why I say I'm in that transformation season. I'm in the identity hangover season because I'm no longer running. I'm in the process of staying. I'm not, and I'm texting her and I'm saying, I want to run. I don't want to talk to you. I want to run.
She tells me. So like that's the space that we've created. And like the reason why it seems ridiculous when we say it out loud, like, what? No, she has grown so much that she recognizes that. Yeah. And she recognizes her past like actions, right?
Oh yeah.
And the need to run and protect herself. But she trusts me enough. Like we've built a relationship strong enough that she can tell me that's how she feels, right? Instead of just running away and ghosting me and like Stephanie poofed off to another country.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's like, I'm scared. Like I'm scared. Here's why I'm scared. And it's not that, we got into like a fight or, a disagreement or anything. Like there wasn't anything that triggered it. It's just, that's how her body feels right now. Oh shit. Like I'm too close. And like something's going to happen.
Exactly. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because she has it in the mind and I have it in the body. So a lot of times I need to figure out what's going on in the energy by speaking it out loud. And she can tell me and help me understand what the mind is saying, where the psychology is, where I'm just acting on the energy that I'm feeling in my body. So I am at this place today, and literally this morning,
our pre-recording meeting that we have is basically like an emotional dump of like where we're at so we can clear all the shit out before we sit down, just so everybody's aware.
But this is the first time. Today was the first time we really did that, because I haven't been able to truly be vulnerable and let her see who I am. She has offered me that experience, but I have said to her over the past couple of weeks, like, I'm not telling you stuff. I have secrets. I'm not letting you in on it. I haven't been capable of being vulnerable. My body hasn't allowed me to be vulnerable. And then what happens is it just bubbles up. And then I get to make a choice that in that bubbling is, do I just say, you know what, this was a mistake. I don't want to do this anymore. Love you, bye. Or do I stand and face that energy and that fear? And do I say, so I faced the fear, right? I said it. And then afterwards she said, do you feel better? And I was like, well, I feel like I'm going to throw up, because that's the truth. Yes, I feel better because I do feel closer to her. And that's what I want. I want those relationships, but it's still in my body. I still feel like I'm going to fucking throw up. And that's the discomfort. And that is okay. Like, we don't have to be joyful all the time. We don't have to be like, live, laugh, love. And you get it, you know what I'm saying, without me being such a bitch. But anyway,
that was awesome. No, I'm going to keep that. That was great.
Okay. Or spiritual fucking bypassing, where everything is just, like joyful and happy all the time. Like, no, sometimes it hurts, even in the good work, even when you're supposed to be doing something and having an expression and feeling vulnerability and uncomfortable. That's part of it. That's what's going to get you to the next level. That's what's going to help you have a fucking friend. And then live with that friend, not live with that friend.
It's like, shit, why have a roommate?
But like,
Right. That's our space in my closet.
right. Have that extra added experience of the fluff, the filler, the things that bring you joy, right? I get to have that because I'm allowing myself to feel uncomfortable, that I'm going to get to have the joy that real friendship brings.
Right.
And it's so interesting. I know.
I just saw the spark in her eyes. Like, I'm not sure where she's going with.
So I had a conversation with my friend Daniel this morning, who asked us to talk about friendships. And I actually thought it was the other topic this morning. So on the drive here, I was preparing for next week's. Which I think is really interesting, because if I had known this was this week's, I think I would have tensed up.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been able to do it. I think the vomiting would have actually occurred. So what he suggested, or we just had this conversation about, is talk about the benefits of friendship. And really, when he said that, I was like, yeah, there are benefits to friendship. And I'm such an asshole. I never thought of benefits to friendship. But what he meant is just being around a friend.
Right.
How that can change your perspective and how that can make your life so much better. Taking yourself out of the situation and just being with a friend. I know you're laughing at me.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I absolutely love that, because the question that I had for you is directly related to that. So when you tell them that you trusted me with your secrets, right? And you finally got that off your chest. And then you told me, you shared with me that you wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
Right. What happened after you told me that?
I don't know. I still want to throw up.
Because I know what her fear is.
Yeah.
Because she shared that with me, right? Like what her fear is as far as these female friendships, and like what holds her back and why she kind of bottles those things up. Like understanding that, I was able to give you what you needed, the reassurance.
The conversation.
Specific, this is what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
And like,
so we made like a plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So that she can kind of put the vomit feeling down further, right? And take a breath and relax and be a little bit more confident in her decision to share that piece of her with me, right? To reassure you.
Still feeling nauseous, but
I'm glad I make you want to puke.
It's so uncomfortable.
But that is a benefit, like that, and I think that's what he was talking about.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at.
Is you're able to share those things. You don't feel like you have to guard yourself completely.
Right.
That you can be open, you can be vulnerable, and I take your fear into consideration, and I protect that. Right.
Let me tell you something else. And so I totally agree with you. What I was getting at when I was saying that I'm still uncomfortable, it still feels gross. I'm sweating like ridiculous amounts of buckets.
It is like 113 in Phoenix. But
I am still happy I did it.
Yes.
So all of these uncomfortable feelings and fear, like the fear is real right now. And when I say real, I just mean physically real.
Right.
I don't mean real as in like,
I didn't threaten her.
No, but it is physically a real source of energy wreaking havoc on my body. But I'm still happy I did it, no matter what. And here's another layer to my avoidance behavior, my chaotic behavior in terms of female friendships or just friendships. Let's be honest, because I haven't even had, when I was growing up, I had a lot of really close male friends. And I don't have any of that anymore, except for people who are in different states. Right. And I have felt really comfortable over the last decade being vulnerable with people who are not going to be in my immediate energy.
Because it's safe. You're behind a screen, you're behind a something.
Right.
You're behind a phone. Like
right. And then when I hang up, it's over and I don't have to face them. So I'm telling you this because sitting here, right, that feeling isn't going away, because this is the first time I may have told people these stories, right? I may have said this female is disgusting, whatever. But I always said them at a distance. I didn't say them thinking in my head, this female is going to be my friend. This female is somebody I can cry to. This female is somebody who can support me. It was always just sharing a story and not caring, right? Like what the outcome is if I see this person again or not. But you're in the state, you're my friend.
So we're sitting on a table together.
We're sitting on chairs next to a table.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's scary. It's super scary. But it is the next part of the identity, right? So the fear is falling away. The fear is what I'm facing. The grief is over because that happened within the last decade. And then the transformation happened 18 months ago. I made that decision. And now we're in the transformation and I'm battling the fear. And the next level of the identity, so I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, stupid microphone being in the wrong spot, is that the identity hangover doesn't come when you land in the new identity. Because to me, I feel like I'm experiencing it right now as
You're
I'm
in the in-between.
in the in-between. It's almost like in the void, right?
Yes. You're in the unconfirmed space. So the Stephanie before that was like, nope, I don't need lady friends, to the Stephanie that's like, I really want this I see how this is going to be awesome. You're right here. Like we're working through the shit in the middle. And that's where the hangover occurs.
Yeah.
When the hangover is done, just like a real hangover, right? Like when you come out of the hangover, you're like, whoo, the fog is cleared and like you can think again and just like move forward. And it's all like sunshine and daisies, right? And you're like, never gonna drink again. Right.
Exactly.
That's the thought process of this identity hangover is you're right now in the like headache, like everything feels so heavy and I can't, I just feel gross. I feel gross. I feel like I'm gonna puke. I feel like all of those things. That's the feeling.
Yeah. And that is what I'm currently experiencing. And I want to point out one of the techniques that I use with myself and I give other people. Being in this tunnel, this void, this hangover, it's really hard to put yourself in the future. It's really hard to visualize what the outcome is going to be. There are things that we do along the way that we can visualize and we feel it and we know that we're getting there. We know that that's where we're headed. But when you're deep in the transformation, it is really hard to see what your life is like, but it doesn't mean you give up. So what I found when people come to me for coaching, they're at that point where they're about to give up. And that's when they have to push through. The visualization might not feel real right now, but the more you create it, the more real it can feel. So a better way of saying that and how I actually explain it is you don't have an example of it, which is why we can't see it.
Correct.
So I have no example of what healthy female relationships look like in the real world. You know, maybe on TV, but I don't live in TV. So in the real world, I have.
Well, you live in a podcast.
I do.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, maybe you're watching on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay. And that was. Anywho, sorry, that was my fault. So you're like. I forgot. Okay. What was I saying?
You don't have an example in real life.
I don't have a real life example of what these healthy relationships look like and healthy relationships when you're a married woman. Because for me, that is also a source of deep trauma. So I've had women I can hang out with as a single lady and we have fun and we do all these crazy, cool adventures, we'll say. And as a married woman, nope, none.
Right.
So what that looks like on the other side of being a married woman and having female friends, no real example.
Right.
Not even in my surrounding environment of married women that I know, they don't have healthy relationships. They have relationships based on using each other. And it's unfortunate. So that doesn't mean I give up hope, right? And
Correct.
This is what I tell my clients. This is where you open up your res. You make yourself see those relationships. So when we're talking about thinking about having a healthy relationship until you're 80 or 90 or until you die, I tell people, go out and find it. Look for it in the real world. It doesn't have to be in your immediate circle, but go into those spaces where you could possibly bump into women hanging out and having friends and being married and it being a healthy relationship, or women, couples living in healthy relationships until the end of time. And healthy relationships don't mean that they don't have their conflict and they're overcoming obstacles, blah, blah, blah. It just means that it works for them. It works for them. And they communicate and they forgive and they love and they laugh and they support and they come back and it works for them. Mm-hmm. So in the darkness, you have to consciously make an effort to seek out those examples. And that's how you're going to eventually put yourself into that reality.
Correct.
You can't visualize it until you actually see that it is possible. And so you have to seek out those possibilities.
I think the other thing that's important to note is that not only do you not have the visual on the back end because you don't have experience with what that looks like, right?
Yeah.
But you have the TV version and things like that. I think it's very important that we acknowledge that even those TV versions or the idea that we have in our head may not even be what it looks like on the other end. Because what is going to work for us and truly make us happy, and this is something that we discussed in a different context, is you creating that reality. When we look at relationships, in a traditional sense, like you're very much restricting yourself. When we talked last week about, kind of having to fit into that box and breaking out of the box and finding yourself, it goes with this too, with friendships, with female friendships, and like with this identity hangover, you're creating that. So what may have worked or not worked in a previous version of yourself is not going to work for the version of you now at all, right? Like the friendships that were important to me that I thought were good friendships and were actually good friendships, as a disclaimer, my 20-year-old self, I'm not looking for that relationship dynamic now in my female friends, right? I went through my 20s. I went through my 30s. I'm halfway through my 40s, and like, what is important to me at this particular point in my life is completely different. It has been enhanced by who I am as a person, right? Like what I need in return from someone, and us being adults and in the mid 40s, like early 50s, whatever that space is, like it's a little bit different, right? Like I'm not going to call you up at 9:00 on a Friday and be like, yeah, let's go clubbing. Right. Like, absolutely not. Like, no, like she's in bed by that point. Like I can't, if I text her after it gets dark, like I know I'm not getting a response till the next morning. Like I'm aware of that, but like, can I still like leave her nuggets for her to wake up to? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But I know that about our relationship. Now, if I was to text her at 5 a.m. and I'm like, girl, let's go hiking. Let's go sit in the pool. Let's go do this. That is where we're at in our life right now, or if something crazy happened and I just want to like share that with her, I know that she's my hype bitch.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I need in a friendship. Like I don't need anything else. I'm not using her for anything else. We're collaborating on so many things and I want her insight. I want her opinion because I value it, that's what I want from our relationship and vice versa. If she needs something, if she's having a bad day or whatever, she'll be like, I need you to like kick me in the ass.
Yeah.
And that's the difference of us now versus if we met in our 20s. Do you think we would have been friends?
Oh, we would have hurt people.
We
would have been friends.
But like, so we'd be in jail. Okay. And it would be a different friendship. But
we weren't allowed to meet in our 20s. That's what we weren't allowed. The universe said, no, much later. Stephanie needs to be a little tired and Nicole needs to be a little ready.
Like, yeah,
to not go to jail anymore.
To not go to jail.
Not ready. Listen, just control, delete. Okay, but yes. And so what I like about what you just said, as you were saying it, what I was reflecting and realizing is that and that's what I was getting at. There's not only is there no vision and no example, because of my journey, I don't even know what I want from a friend in real time. But I know that I'm willing to figure it out.
But we're building it.
And I know that I'm willing to build it. And I know that I'm willing to create it. But what those pieces and how that all falls, currently what's happening in my life is I keep, okay, let's go this way. And then I'm like, no, that's a scary way. Okay, let's go this way. No, that's a scary way. Let's go this way.
She is on her road trips again.
Right. So I'm projecting out happy little thoughts, scenarios of what these friendships could blossom into and build. But that also needs to stop, the projection, because the projections are based on the past.
Right.
And so I have to pull myself back into the present moment and say, no, we're just going to listen to what's happening right now. And I think that's a really important piece for everyone in their life when they're going through anything, whether it's relationships or business, is not to project and not to make assumptions. And you can have the vision of where you want to go, but then pull yourself back into the present moment, the reality of what's happening now, because what's happening now will get you
to where you want to go.
Okay. So that's all mine, Let me unload all of that.
That's where she's at for that.
I'm still sweating like fucking so much. It's like,
it really is like 113 degrees outside. Clearly we're not sitting in that, and we're in the nice air conditioning.
no, and I'm not hot. I'm just sweating.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Let's put this over here.
It was so weird when she like that, but it's fine.
Okay.
So that is the energy.
See, she does like me. The energy perspective of it. And don't worry, I'm going to protect her. Oh, I'm not going to hurt her, I promise.
It's so scary.
It's like Toy Story. You got a friend in me. Anyways, so yes. So there's that. Okay, now we're going to shift dynamics, just a smiddly engine.
Yeah.
So when we talk about this identity hangover, this identity hangover in professional sense.
Yeah.
Looks similar.
I cannot get over that word.
What? Similarly engine. Oh, so many weird words. I apologize. Actually, I'm not sorry.
No, business sense. Okay.
Okay, so in a business sense, what this looks like is when we are transitioning out of careers, when we're, promoting, we're just all of a sudden in this like, I don't really like doing this. I'm going to move to this industry, right? So we've all seen those shifts where, somebody spends the first 15 years of their career as a chef and then boom, like completely goes off the rocker and becomes an accountant, right? Like you go from a creative space to this space, like two different like brain
happenings.
Yeah, happenings. Sorry, my brain just stopped happening. Brain stopped happening. But so what does that in between look like, right? So
this is the nervousness coming out now.
Now she's just going to awkward giggle through the rest of this.
Totally.
So we start to look at those types of things of like, okay, so, I made the decision, right? Like I made the decision. I don't want to be a chef anymore. Yeah. This is hypothetical. I was not a chef. I wanted to be a chef, but then we digress. Anyways, I didn't get to be words. So we make the decision, like for whatever reason, this career, this path isn't working for me. Maybe, it has to do with my personal life. Maybe I'm just not reaching the level in my career goals that I thought I initially would. And so it's not working for me. So similar to like you kind of shutting the door to those female friendships, this career, I'm shutting that door, right? It doesn't work. Okay, so now we are making the conscious choice, like, what am I going to do next? Because unfortunately, we're all adults and we have to keep working and making money and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, we know that we have to move into something else, right? So I'm going to get out of that
okay, I decide I want to be an accountant. I don't know, that was really random, but like, well, I'm going to be an accountant. And so like, what do I need to do to get there? Right.
Right.
Like,
Okay, I need to go back to school. I need to learn these pieces of it. I might have like a sprinkling of that knowledge, but not in depth to be a professional, right? So now I have to go to school. I have to get certifications. I got to do the things, right? So that I can now confidently move into that career.
Right.
So it's that in-between phase, and it's a big phase. It's the education piece. It's you questioning everything about yourself. Is this going to work? Am I good enough to do this? I've done something so creative for my entire career, and that was the path that I was on. And now I am guardrailed, right? With laws and rules and like all this stuff, right? It's math. There is one answer. One. You can't be like, you know what? I don't like 4. I'm going to go with 62. Notice I didn't say 6'7". I had to throw that in there. My kids are going to hate me. Anyways, it's like you don't get that creative liberty to be like, I don't like how this maths. I'm going to do it. No.
Yeah.
100% no. And so that in itself is super uncomfortable, right? And so it's learning to like regulate yourself, but growing through that. And that is the identity hangover part. It's growth, right? It looks different from the personal aspect because you're growing, super uncomfortable. You don't know if you're going to be successful, right? And then you're like, bam, like here I am. And all of a sudden you're on LinkedIn and you're on talking to your family and you're like, yeah, so I'm going to be an accountant. And then you have to take in everybody else's shit, right? What do you mean? You spent an entire lifetime building this identity of yourself.
Yeah.
And now you take away that white coat and you're over here.
Yeah.
Your friends are different.
Your entire network shifts and it doesn't make sense to anyone else.
The whole journey is shifting.
It makes no sense to your family, to your friends, to your professional network. It doesn't make sense. And it's okay. And that you also have to be able to swallow and be okay with and be strong enough to walk through.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't need to. You do not need to justify any of that to anyone else. It's about you. It's about what is going to fulfill your purpose. Right. And make you feel happy. And so that's the identity crisis in a professional sense when we switch careers midway through life and whatever. And it could be something as simple as like, it didn't feel how you thought it was going to feel.
Right.
A lot of kids do that.
And it sounds the same to me, to be honest with you, but this is the professional journey.
Correct.
This is the professional lens where mine was very personal with the relationships.
Yes.
But the experience and the internal energy is exactly the same, what you're going through. I like, and I, again, didn't know where we're getting here, but I love that that's what you just brought up and put it into the professional sense, because that is what Nicole does. She's writing a book called The Pivot, which I think we only mentioned once before, but that exact space in that pivot is what she is a master at, and navigating it and teaching people how to navigate it, because it can be so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are you internally dealing with this mirror of what the fuck am I doing?
Yes.
But now you have the outside world saying, what the fuck are you doing? But then there's this other energy that's saying, just keep doing it. And you don't know where that voice is coming from. You don't know where that drive is coming from, but it is saying, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And that's what helps you stay in that present moment. And it's so big and it's so valuable, and it applies. And honestly, I can't wait for that book to come out, because I know just in that space of walking the darkness, like being in the void, is so, some people make it and some people don't.
Correct. It is really scary. It's scary in that because you're changing everything. You're changing your whole identity.
Yeah.
And like your mindset, your everything about you shifts.
Yeah.
And something that I wanted to bring, which was oddly brought up earlier in a different conversation I was having before Stephanie got here, is you can look through my social media and, spanning back to the dawn of social media, right? And you can visually see multiple versions of me.
Oh yeah.
Like my appearance, my mannerisms, my attitude, my confidence, my everything about me shifts into these new versions. And it just keeps, and this is not like a ego boost or anything to my own horn, but each version gets a little bit better because I take lessons from each of those pieces, each of those Nicoles, and build her into something that I truly believe I was meant to be, but I just had to work through my shit. You know what I mean? Like I had to get through all of those things. And
it's okay to celebrate that.
Oh yeah,
that's okay. It's okay to say
each of the versions of Nicole, like she had a great time. Like she's got really fun stories throughout all of this. And my best friend, she's my hype bitch. And she's been telling me for years that I need to do a podcast or write a book about all of the crazy ass adventures and funny stories. I turned my trauma into funny stories. Shout out to Miss Haley.
Hi, she'll be like, I think I made the podcast.
But she's been telling me, throughout this entire path, like you need to share these things with people because it was really messed up in the moments, but like I find the humor in it. I find the joy in the moments, right? But that's what gives other people hope. My weird hiccups in life, like that makes other people go, oh shit, I thought I was the only one that did stupid stuff like that. Oh, nay. But anyways, I digress. So going back to shifting our careers. So another thing that I think is important is that we do need to give ourselves a little bit of grace when it comes to these, like what seems on the outside as a dramatic career shift. Here's why.
Yeah.
When we are growing up, when we are children, we are asked over and over again from the age of 4.
Wait, don't even say it. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I have spent countless hours on this question because what do you want to be is the wrong fucking question. Who do you want to be is the right question. We always say what. We give ourselves the identity based on what we do, not who we are.
Right.
So we need to start asking who we want to be.
So I love that question.
But we put emphasis on the question of what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And we will now more than back in the day, schools have gotten really good at giving specialized elective courses to get kids to their goal faster, which is awesome. It's awesome. But your 12, 13-year-old self, that is, I want to do this when I grow up. I can give you the really funny list of all the things I wanted to be in my life, and I am not doing that. But your 13-year-old self, does your 13-year-old self know what your 50-year-old self wants to be? Absolutely not. Because your 13-year-old self is like, I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 50. They're really old. And then you get to 45 and you're like, shit, I still got so much stuff to do. Like I'm in my prime, right?
Yeah.
So is it feasible? And some people can stay in the same career for their entire life and they're happy. Some people can, and I applaud them for being like knowing truly who they are from an early age. But the majority of people, that is not the case, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's like this, they almost feel like they failed if suddenly at 40, you want to change careers. It's a feeling of failure.
So when you think about if you were to give yourself that question, who do you want to be when you grow up? And just think about this. Do you think right now, forget about what you're actually producing and what you're actually doing?
What my title is, forget my title.
Forget your title. Are you who you wanted to be?
Yes.
Me too. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
Yeah.
And weirdly, I've also thought about like all the answers, my answers throughout life of like what do you want to be when you grow up? I've thought about all of the different answers that I've given.
Yeah.
And that progression. And oddly, I'm closer aligned to what I said as a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old than what I said as a 14 to 20-year-old.
100% me too. So my 5-year-old self truly knew who I should be.
Same. What I'm doing today is exactly what I visualized myself doing before school told me I should do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And I was serious. Like I've sat there for days contemplating this question and like just the importance that we as adults, parents, teachers put on the wrong question.
Yeah.
Of what. It's not what, it's who.
Yeah. This, so interesting. The beginning chapter of my book is deconstructing your identity.
Oh, I love
And it is absolutely asking yourself to look at all of your labels that you give yourself. If you were to write yourself a Tinder profile and give yourself labels, what would they be? Or whatever
Profile.
magical human.
Yeah. And then why do you give yourself that title? Well, why? Where is it coming from? Why do you think you are that title? And are you still you if you took that title away, if you took that identity away? And it's a very powerful exercise. I have done it myself multiple times. And every time I do it, I'm like, damn. Okay. But yeah, it's deconstructing the self, the identity, and then going through this dark
void.
valley, void. Yeah. And coming out fucking fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pivot.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. And she's going to have all of her funny stories.
Oh, yeah. No, I feel like that's going to be like a whole different book. Like this was 2 different genres per se.
All right.
But yeah.
I think the only other thing I would like to add to this identity hangover from a professional standpoint is not something that's not as significant as the career shift, like the complete career shift, is also the promotions, like the internal.
Oh my God.
You know, when you go from, and we've all seen this, right?
Yeah.
Where like you go from, you get hired as a regular employee and you may move to like a supervisor or a manager, or you go from a manager to all of a sudden you're a C-suite, or, you know, whatever that looks like. And there's different expectations of your role, like on paper, but there's a different personality, right? And so the most drastic we see is from employee to that like middle manager, everybody's favorite position. They're almost they're hated as much as HR. So
yeah.
But it's true. And the reason why they're hated so much is because typically, and not all the time, so don't everybody hold me to this, but typically what happens is when someone gets promoted from that employee, that supervisory role, trainer, into middle manager, it's not necessarily because of their true leadership in self. It's because of their productivity, their output, right? Like they're really good at doing this, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's their tenure, whatever. And it's just the natural step into manager, right? In where we fail is we don't give them all of the other pieces, the soft skills that go with it, right? And they're so important because now they're in charge of humans. And we don't give them the tools to succeed. And so a lot of people fail. But what we also forget is that we went from being peers and hanging out and having really gnarly conversations, very personal conversations, to I'm your boss.
I have a story for that. And that's the side of the coin that made me go, when you first brought it up, because that did happen to me. I was a peer and I wanted this promotion to be basically a teacher of teachers. And the feedback when I didn't get the job the first year was they won't take you seriously because you're too friendly with them.
Yep.
You're friends with everybody.
Mhm.
And this was over a decade ago. It was probably 15 years ago. But the next year, I got the promotion and I absolutely understood what he meant.
Yep.
Because I did have the skills to run the show and manage, and I had the people skills and the awareness. And
It's really hard, isn't it?
but they still want, everybody was my friend. And so everybody thought they got special treatment.
Yep.
All 200 of them
Mhm.
thought they got special treatment. And then I was finally, after about 5 years, 6 years in this position, before I said, screw this industry, able to take myself completely away from it and put that wall up and put the separation up. And it sucked and it hurt. But then I got to see fully behind the curtain. And that's when I said, yeah, no, this is not the industry for me.
Correct.
Because behind this curtain, you're lying to all of them.
Yes.
And that was another, and whew, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So that identity.
I don't know if that was complete sentences, but you get it.
No, but everybody understood that because
Yeah.
everybody has been on one side or the other of that, where like they themselves have promoted up and had to identity hangover themselves away from their
Yeah.
friends and disassociate a little bit and like put that barrier up, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, they're the friend that's still over here and their best friend became their boss, and that relationship may be a little bit skewed now,
Mhm.
right? So that hangover period looks a little different because now that becomes personal, right? Of like you know what's on the other side. It's the promotion. You don't know how it feels, you know, and what it truly looks like, but you know that like that is what you chose. You chose to promote. And in order to do that, you have to let some of these things that were really important to you,
Right.
you have to make the choice. You have to let them go, right? Or be able to find a way to separate the two. So from my perspective, and I can give you like a personal, like professional example.
Do it.
of
Let's
this.
do it.
Haley.
Oh.
Okay. So Haley and I were friends and I was her boss, but we had to be able to separate the two. And we did a very good job of it. She, you know, like it wasn't special treatment. It wasn't anything. I held her to the same standard, you know, and it was so far as to like when I had to have sorry, Haley, I'm not throwing you under the bus, but when I had to have difficult conversations with her, and we would walk into the room, and just so that because our friendship was so strong that I wanted to make sure that we were both on the same page. Like it was important to me that we kept our friendship.
Yeah.
My job was important to me too, but like I needed her to know that like I cared about her as a human and this was nothing personal. It was strictly I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
You know, and so we would walk into those conversations and like I'm your boss right now, I'm not your best friend.
Yeah.
And like I don't have any ill will towards you at all as a human, and we're gonna walk out of here. So we would go into those conversations and we would set the expectation to just be able to separate our work relationship versus our friendship, right? And we did a really good job of not intermingling any of that.
Yeah.
And then when it was actually kind of a funny joke when she left the company and she was like, well, now we can actually be friends in public. Where like it wasn't this thing anymore where we had to essentially hide our friendship from everybody we worked with.
Right.
So that was that piece of it. So yes, I've been through those types of things. And, you know, that was the good one where like she understood, I understood, and we didn't have to sacrifice our friendship.
That dynamic is really hard, and I'm proud of you. I don't know.
Thank you.
But like that,
Thank you.
as I'm listening to your story, I'm like, damn, I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know. I don't remember, you know, again, it was 15 years ago when I was in that.
Stop.
And my life was a million times different than what it looks like today.
Sorry, my dog lectures today.
But in the space that I'm at right now, what you were able to do, I just feel like I wouldn't be able to do today.
Right.
I don't know if I was able to do it back then. I don't really remember. There's a lot of things I
There's
don't.
a lot of things.
Yeah. What a good train ride that we just went on.
I know.
Because there's so
our destination.
we did arrive at our destination because there's so many things that go into what we create our identity around. And really, we shouldn't create our identity around any of it. We should think of the entire thing as just experience. Where is my energy still trying to reconnect to an old story because the unknown feels less familiar?